Welcome to Bite Size Canvas. I'm Helen Graves, and today we're going to dive into one of my favorite topics, self-assessment. Self-assessment is an important educational practice that supports students in building metacognitive and self-efficacy skills, which is why it's included as item C8 in the CVC course design rubric. I've had more than one instructor say to me, every assessment in my course is self-assessment because I give students a grade so they know how they're doing. Why should I add more? Perhaps you've also wondered, what's the point? The point, my learner-centered friend, is that self-assessment helps our students develop their ability to learn better. It can increase self-awareness through reflective practice. It contributes to the development of critical thinking and analytical skills. It helps students take greater control of and responsibility for their own learning. It gives students greater agency, which strengthens motivation. If you think about it, there are two kinds of self-assessment. There's content-based, where you're checking for understanding of course content. This could be done by asking students to briefly explain specific topics or concepts from the unit. You could make it a bit more complex by asking them to elaborate on how this new learning builds on a previous unit, or what new ideas they might want to follow up on. Another form of content-based self-assessment could be to offer a practice quiz that students can take multiple times. Canvas makes it really easy to set up automated feedback for answers so you can share resources or point out where to find the right answer for those who got it wrong. Another very basic self-assessment is asking students to respond to these three questions. What was I supposed to learn? Did I learn it? What questions do I still have? That's a simple way to help both you and your students understand where they're at with specific course goals. The other kind of self-assessment could be termed metacognitive, meaning students are assessing their learning skills in general, not knowledge of a particular topic. Metacognition is an effective, active learning strategy that gives students the ability to be self-aware of their own thinking. Questions like, in what ways were you successful with this week's course activities? Or, one thing you could do to be more successful in this class is, or, how have you been managing your time in this class? How might you manage it more efficiently? When students know how to understand and use feedback, including their own self-reflections, they'll be better able to effectively assess their own learning and make necessary adjustments. Not only does the practice of self-assessment give our students the opportunity to practice metacognitive skills, it also provides we instructors with a plethora of information about their learning that we can use to become better teachers. In her discussion of the research on self-assessment, Heidi Andrade of SUNY Albany states that self-assessment is best used as a formative tool with the purpose of generating feedback that promotes learning and improvements in performance. As she puts it, if there's no opportunity for adjustment and correction, self-assessment is almost pointless. That is precisely why C8 specifically mentions that instructor feedback is built into the self-assessment process. We're not suggesting you have to provide copious feedback to each student on every self-assessment activity. What's important is that you're seeing student responses and can offer guidance to those who may be struggling or off track. The adjustment and correction aspect is also why we encourage you to include your self-assessment activities in the first 3 quarters of the course, so students have the chance to make changes that can positively impact their learning and their performance. For a deeper dive into self-assessment and its core component, feedback literacy, I recommend several articles linked below this episode. Item C8 is not intended as a fluff piece. It's included in the course design rubric to help you intentionally support an often overlooked aspect of learning, so I humbly ask you to give this strategy the attention it deserves. The more students learn to assess their performance at your direction, and the more strategies and techniques they have to self-assess, the more likely they are to make it a habit they do on their own. And in the bigger picture, wouldn't we all rather live in a society where citizens grow up learning how to think and reason effectively? That's all, folks. Until next time, this is Helen wishing you a Canvalicious day.